everybody. Here we are. And I want to welcome you to tutorial number 85. And it is what I call a diabolical. I'm going to show you how to do a diabolical puzzle. And I want to say a big thanks to Jennifer Dunford, who sent me this and gave me the okay to use this puzzle because it's a beauty, that's for sure. I also wanted to mention before I go on to the puzzle, I'm doing this on the computer again. Unfortunately, my famous Sudoku guy whiteboard is still not arrived from Canada. Here we are in Adelaide 6 months and it still hasn't arrived. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually do this puzzle with the whiteboard when it finally comes, because it's a different process when you have a pencil and paper as opposed to a computer. Okay, I'm going to share the screen now. This is my screen and we're going to look at this. If you can find a number straight away, congratulations, because this is what I did. I went through all the steps that I usually do for all puzzles and got nowhere. Oh boy. I did TMB, then I did LCR, top, middle, bottom, then left, center, right, LCR. And then, of course, I'm doing always to look for RAM when I do that. And then I did cross meet technique, no luck. Use the Schneider notation. Like this, for example, we have two twos across here. I can put two little twos there, a little two there. And when you see it green, it means that I've selected it. I did here's 2 5s. There's 2 5s here, so I can put a little 5 there and a little 5 here. And there's 2 8s down in here, so I did those where you can put a little 8 there and a little 8 there. Then we got stuck again, still no big numbers. So I looked for cells and rows and columns and blocks with only 3 empty cells. That didn't work either, couldn't find any of them. Then I went to 4 empty cells, no luck again. And then went to 5 empty cells. And oh man, that becomes a tedious job. For those of you who have got a puzzle like this on paper, your next step is unfortunately to put all the possible little numbers in. Now, if any of you can find a big number right now, congratulations. They use the computer. I'm going to use the computer to save time. Okay, so here we go. Watch this change now. Oh, I tell you. Voila, boy, oh boy. Now, where do we start? Well, don't worry. I'm going to show you step by step. First step, have a look all around the puzzle. Is there any cell that only has 1 little number in it? Now, I looked and it didn't find not 1 cell, so we still haven't got anywhere. Then I looked for a matching pair. Is there a matching pair that's in 2 cells somewhere? And I couldn't find one of them either. But then finally, I found a hidden matching pair. I found 2 of them. I'm going to show them to you. Here, up in this row 2, can you see a hidden matching pair along here? If you can, that means that you are able to eliminate some little numbers, get rid of little numbers. Get rid of little numbers is part of the game at this stage. Now have a look at this. Here we have a 3 and a 3. And here we have a 6 and a 6. And nowhere else in that row do you have a 3, 6, 3, 6. That means that 3, 6 are a hidden matching pair. And that also means that one of these cells has got to be a 3 and one of these cells has got to be a 6. I can select that one and we can get rid of the 7 and we can get rid of the 9. And over here in this one here, we can get rid of the 7. We can get rid of the 8 and get rid of the 9. And now we're left with our matching pair. Wasn't that neat? But still, we don't have a big number. Now let's look elsewhere, see if we can find another hidden matching pair. Something you really need. Aha, yes, I remember now. Down here in this column, well, would you believe it's a 3, 6 again? If you look at this cell and this cell, they both have a 3, 6, and there's no other 3 or 6s in that row, in that column. That means that this here is a 3, 6 matching pair, and we call it a hidden matching pair. So I'll select this one and get rid of that 2. So we're left with a 3, 6, get rid of this 9. And now in this one here, I'm going to get rid of the 1. And now we have a 3, 6 matching pair. But what has happened here, and this is often the case, suddenly, if you look at this block here, we did have a 1 there, but now we've got locked number 1s. Now, locked number 1s, if you don't know what I mean by locked little numbers, go back to tutorial 82. I think I talk about them there, and tutorial 83, tutorial 81, and all that area I cover locked little numbers. So these are locked, which means 2 things. 1, we can get rid of this 1 here, and we can get rid of that 1 there. And we can also say, look, this is the bottom one, here's the middle, here's the top. That means that this is the only one that's in this. Two reasons why this has to be a 1. First of all, because that's the only one, that was a pun, in that whole row. Secondly, you have a bottom, a middle, and a top. So we'll make that a big 1. And we finally, would you believe, we finally got a big 1. What does that do? Was there any 1s above here? Let's go back and find out. Were there any 1s? Yes, there was a 1. This 1 disappeared when I put the big 1 in. So let's go back here again. And now we have a big 1. Well, did that help us at all? Yes, it does. Have a look at block 7. Here is block 7. Can you find a number in there that is all by itself? It's not repeated in that block. If you found it to be a 3, you were correct. Now watch what happens when we make that a 3. Immediately, let's go this way first. We'll go along this way first. That 3, middle, bottom, this becomes a 3. Okay, I'll select it. That makes this a 6. Okay, because it was a 3, 6 matching pair. Remember that? Now, that was a great little start, but remember, I may come back to the 6. Let me see now. We had this 3 here. That was a new 3. And now we go this way. We're going to go up. If we go up this way, are there any 3s? Yes, when we put this 3 in, look, I'll go. When we put this 3 in, there were all kinds of 3s in here, and up there, that was a 3. So that becomes a 6. Let's make it a 6 while I see it there. Because that was part of a matching pair here, that becomes a 3. Now we have a top, a middle, and a bottom. This becomes a 3. Now we have 3, 3, 3, and we have 3, 3, 3. Fantastic. Wow. We made good progress there. But you know what? When I made this a 6, there was a 6 here, there was a 6 there, and there was a 6 down in here, if I remember rightly. I don't want to have to go back all that way, but just bear in mind that there was a 6 here, a 6 there, and a 6 there. They've all gone. This 6 covers the whole block, and this one here goes, which means in this block, can you notice something? Is there a small number that is all by itself now? Yes, if you saw a 6 here, you're correct. We said it, remember that? When I got this 6 and went across here, there were 2 6s there, couldn't do anything. But now, because of that 6, we can now make this a big 6. Wow, that was neat. Now what do we do? Go back again and start looking for locked little numbers and hidden matching pairs and anything like that. If you see something, let me know. But what I see is this. Have a look at this block. Can you see something in there? Well, that block has 2 9s and they are locked. And they are locked because they are in a column. Okay? If that is the case, the rule goes like this. This 9 can go. Okay? This 9 can go. See it disappeared? This 9 can go. Disappears. This 9 can go. And this 9 can go. Wow, that was a lot of eliminations. Now let's push on a bit further. What do we do now? Oh, did you see this? Maybe you saw it before I did. When we got rid of that 9, we now have a 7, 8 matching pair. It's a normal matching pair, but even so, in this row, we can get rid of any 7 or 8 that is not part of the matching pair, which means we can select this box and we can get rid of that 7 and 8. And we can select this box and we can get rid of that 7 and 8. And we finish up with a 1, 9 matching pair. And this is 7, 8, 2 matching pairs on that row. Woo, we're making progress. Now, what's the next step? Let's see. Have a look at block 1. Here's block 1. Can you see locked numbers there? Yes, I can see 8s that are locked, but there's no 8s here to get rid of, so that didn't help us. Okay. And 7s are not locked because we've got vertical and horizontal in there. 4s are not locked because there's 4s there and 4s down in here. That doesn't work. And if you want to know what doesn't work with locked little numbers, go to tutorial number 82. I think I cover it in more detail then. Okay, yes. Did you discover that there was the 9s that were locked? If that's the case, we can get rid of these 9s all the way along here. Can you see what's going to happen now? First of all, I'm going to get rid of that 9. Now I'm going to get rid of this 9. Now I'm going to get rid of that 9. And I'm going to get rid of that 9. And now get rid of this 9. And we're left with a big number. Whoopee. Now, what are we going to do here? Now, this is very important. If you're doing pencil and paper, you have to be aware of all the things that can happen now. Because when I make this a big 8, this 8 is going to go, that 8's going to go, and that 8's going to go, leaving a big 1. This 8's going to go and give us the big 7. This 8's going to go, and that 8's going to go. Now we did the up here. Now we go across this way. That 8's going to go, and that 8's going to go. Isn't that amazing? We get rid of all those. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That 8's going to go too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 8s are going to go. Let's make this a big 8 and see them all disappear. Here we go. Boom. They've all gone. Now what do we do? Well, first of all, we've got a new 7. See this here? So let's make that a big 7. Okay. Now, if that's a big 7, did you see what happened? I'm going to go back again. I'm going to hit that one again. Look at this. If that's a 7, this 7 is going to go, and this 7 is going to go, disappear. And if I go across here, this 7 is going to go, and that will become an 8. which will make this a big, this will, no, may not. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, yeah, it's coming. Looking ahead. So let's make this a big 7 now. See what happened down here? Now that 7 made this an 8. We'll make that a big 8. And that 7 made this a 4, because it was a 4, 7. 8, remember? That's a 4, 7, so that becomes a 4. Now, when that becomes a 4, have a look back again. That 4 means that those 4s are going to go. And these 4s are going to disappear. We can get rid of all those, and we're going to go down this way, top, middle, bottom. That 4 is going to become a big 4. Let's do that and see. Oh, by the way, when I put that big 4 in, that's going to become a 2. Oh, it's coming along. We're getting there. We'll select that, and I'll make it a big 4. Boom. That 4 went. This 4 went. And now we have a top, a middle, and a bottom. So this 4 will make a big 4, which means this 4 and this 4 and this 4 will all disappear. Oh, wow. Makes that a big 4. Isn't that neat? I'll go back again to see if there are any other 4s that we could look at. No, all those 4s disappear. Now, because we did this over here, this became a 2. Remember there was 2, 4 there? So this now becomes a 2. And when we made that 4, the 4s all went down in here. Yeah, they disappeared. We'll make this a 2, and let's see what's going to happen. That 2 is going to go. This 2 is going to disappear. Let's see them go. Ready? 2, boom. Now we have a 1, 9 matching pair and a 1, 9 matching pair there. Now, when I went to this side, remember I did something over here. Oh, yes, when we put that 4 in, the 4, 9 and the 4, 7, 9, the 4's disappeared. So now we have a big 9. So let's make it a big 9 and add a big 7. And let's see, well, I'll do the 9 first. If there's, when the 9, there was a 9 in here. Let's go back again so you can see what happened. Didn't go. Oh dear, okay. That 9 was there, it was gone. We'll go down here now to the 7. When I hit this 7, that 7 is going to disappear. That 7 is going to disappear. This 7 is going to disappear. And this 7 is going to disappear. Watch how that works. Good. Now we have a 5, 6 matching pair. Whoopee, that's going to be helpful down the road. Now, because we got that 7, let's look down this way. We've got a 7 down in here, and we have a right, a left, and a center. So this becomes a 7. And watch this. When I make this a 7, this 7 is going to go, that 7 is going to go, and that 7 is going to go. So here we go. Make it a big 7. Boom, all those 7s went. Now, getting back to this block up in here, if I remember rightly, do you remember that we got rid of an 8 and this became a 1 down in here? Well, let's take advantage of that. This 1 will become a big 1. That was a pun, a big 1. Okay. Now, because we have a middle, a right, and a center, a right, and a left, this becomes a big 1. And therefore, because that was a 1, 9 matching pair, this becomes a 9. Now, before I put the 9 in, have a look and see what's going to happen. That 9, that 9, that 9, this 9, this 9, this 9, and this 9. That was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 9s are going to disappear. Woohoo! Okay, let's see what happens if I'm right. Make that turn. Okay. They've all gone. They all disappeared along here. We now have a triplet. 1, 7, and 8. We now have all these 9s gone. Oh, I like to see. Look, we have a 5, 8 matching pair. Wow, what does that do? Well, Now, there's two ways of doing this. I'll show you another way. We can get rid of that 5. We can get rid of this 5, and we can get rid of that 5. But there's something else I want to show you. Let me think now. Because, look at this. Let me go up here. 7, 7. This becomes a 7. Now I remember what I was going to do. Therefore, those 7s disappeared. This is going to be a 7 now. And we still have a 5, 8 matching pair. Now, I can take this little 5. Let's see what happens and get rid of the little 5. Because that's a matching pair. I can take this 5 here and get rid of that little 5. I can take this 5 here and get rid of that little 5. That makes that a 2, 9. Wow. Next thing. I talked about the 5, 8 matching pair. We did that. Now let's look at in this block. Can you see? This is fun. Can you see a locked number in this block? Yes, if you discovered it, it was an 8. 8 is locked. Locked because one of these 8s in this block have to be an 8 because the block has to have an 8. And they are in a row pointing this way. So little locked numbers pointing this way. Which that means that we can get rid of this 8. And that leaves us, okay, I'm going to get rid of that 8. I'm going to get rid of this 8. And what does that do? It leaves us with a big 5. Now, this is so exciting with this big 5, because can you see what's going to happen when I make this a big 5? I'll select it. When I make this a big 5, can you see what's going to happen? First of all, let's go up the column. That 5 is going to disappear. That 5 can be eliminated. This 5 can be eliminated in the block. This 5 can be eliminated. This 5 can be eliminated because they're in the block. This 5 can be eliminated. And this 5 can be removed because they are all in the block and these are in the column. Ooh, so what does that mean? Watch and change. How everything changed when I make that a big 5. Here we go. Did you see them all disappear? Now, if you're doing pencil and paper, you can see it yourself as you go. What did that do? Well, can you notice look at block 9. What did that, removing that 5, remember it was a 5, 8 matching pair? Now there's an 8 all by itself. So if I make this an 8, what's going to happen? That 8 is going to go, and that's going to become a 6. That 6 is going to go then, and this will become a 5. That 5 is going to go, and that becomes a 4. That 5 is also going to go, and that becomes an 8. All this is going to happen just because I've discovered this 8. And we had this 8 and this 8 are going to disappear. So lots of things are going to happen. Here we go. Make it a big 8. Now we've got the 8's disappeared there. And this became a 6. This now becomes a 5. Now, the 5 disappeared there. I'm going to take that 5 off. I'm going to take that 5. I can't take it away. I don't know. I'll erase that. Okay, here's the 5. We had a 5 there. Okay, I'm going to put it in. Whoops, no way. Whoops, oh dear, undo. Okay, I just wanted to point out we had a 5 here and a 5 here and a 5 here and a 5 there. This is a 3, 5, 9 triplet. One of these is going to be a 5 in that case. That means that we can get rid of that 5 and that 5. So there was 2 ways of getting rid of the 2 5s that were in here. Okay, I'm going to make this now a big 5. And now we're left with a 4. Oh, boy, things are happening like crazy here. And over here we had a, what do we have here? We had another number here, I forgot what was in there. Okay, I'll come back to that one. This 4 becomes a 4. This becomes an 8. Now let me go back to this 9. I can't remember what was there, but it's become a 9. So we have a 2-9 matching pair. So then, okay, this becomes a 9. Makes that a 9. 9, 9. One of these is going to become a 9. Now that becomes a 9. Oh, look at this. This becomes a 9. And therefore this becomes, because that was a 2-9 matching pair, this becomes a 2. And that means that this will become a 5 because that 2 will disappear. And this 2 will disappear and we'll get a 4. Wow, 2, make that a 2. We'll make this a 5 now. When I make that a 5, this becomes a 4. Okay, make that a 4. Now this becomes a 5. We're bombing along here, aren't we? This becomes a 4. Okay, and we have another triplet up in here too. Here's a 1, 2, 1, 2, 9. That 4 made that 4 disappear. Wow. Now, up here I found an 8. See this 8 here? There were 8s all the way along here, and they've all gone. Isn't that neat? We now have a 2-9 matching pair. Oof. If we have a 2-9 matching pair, what does that do? It helps us to get rid of any other 2 and 9s in this row. Let me see. Okay, take this one here. Get rid of the 2. Oops. Take this one here. Get rid of the 2 and the 9. Okay, 5, 7, 8. Now, when I put a 4 there, this became a 1. Did you pick that up? If this becomes a 1, because it was a 4, 7, I think, originally, and that 7 made it a 1 too. So here we go. We make this a big 1. Now this makes this a 4. And we're making progress. Boy, oh boy. What did that do? Remember what this was? It was a 4, 7. Now this becomes a big 7, and this is going to be very valuable. Can you see if I make this a 7, what's going to happen? Because this is a triplet. And when you have a triplet, when you get one of them, you usually get the others. Watch this now. We have a 7. Make it a 7. This becomes a 6. And this becomes a 4. And let's just double check. 4, 4, 4. That is correct. But remember we had a 7, 8 matching pair up here? You probably didn't see that. Well, that means that, oh, I've got 1 9 left there. We'll come to that. Because this 7 made that 7 go there, this becomes an 8, which gets rid of that 8 there. And now we have a 7 all by itself because it was a triplet. And this becomes a 1. Now, when we put this 6 in here, remember that was a 5, 6 matching pair? When we put that 6 there, this will become a 5. And this will become a 6. Now, when I did something down in here, when was it? It was a 9, 9, 9, 9. This becomes, oh, we can't do it that way. There's something wrong. I may have to do this whole puzzle again. Okay. 2, 9, 2, 9. That, oh gosh, that should be a 2. That's a 2. This is a 2. So make this a 2. And this, that can't be a 9. This is a 9. Okay. Yeah, that works out okay. I thought I'd made a mistake. Now we remember we said that we had a a triplet in here. When we put that 5 in, that said goodbye to the triplet there. And we have a 3, 5, 9 again. Once we get one of them, we should get the rest. But we remember we had a 4, 9 here. When we put that 4 in now, this became a 9. Okay, that becomes a 9. When this becomes a 9, watch what will happen. That disappears and that disappears. Okay, here we go. Make this a 9. Now let's see, that makes this 1 made this a 2. Remember it was a 1, 2. Okay, so that 1 made this a 2. And therefore, and that was a 1, 2. So this now becomes a 1. Okay, now because we had that there, this has now become a 3. Okay, because of 1 there, this becomes a 3. If I make this a 3, that can become a 2. Okay, that becomes a 2. If that becomes a 2, this is going to become a 9. I hope everything's going to work out in the end. It's the time when you suddenly realize you made a mistake. That becomes a 9. If this becomes a 9, that becomes a 3. Okay. If that becomes a 3, that makes sense because that 3 means 3, 3, 3. So that works. Now, because of that, we put that 3 in. This becomes a 5. If this becomes, look at this. If this becomes a 5, this becomes a 9. Okay, and that works. So that's a 5. We'll make it a 5. And therefore, this becomes a 9. We're getting to the end, I hope, hopefully, and that becomes a 5. Let me see. Yeah, that would work because we have a top, a bottom, and a middle. So that's the 5. Now because of the 7 going up in here, we now have an 8, which will make this a 7. 8, 8. This will become an 8. That 2 made this an 8. So that proves that point. I'll make that an 8. And therefore, this becomes a 2. Therefore, this, remember we said that was going to have to be an 8, 8, 8, 8. And this will be a 7, 7, 7. And I think we've nailed it. And make that an 8. And make this a 7. And Jason says, congratulations, we did it. Now, folks, let me quickly finish off by I'm going to stop the share and tell you that what really made this work, it was when we went to put all the little numbers in, which unfortunately had to be done, we then looked for single little numbers, we looked for hidden matching pairs, and finding those hidden matching pairs really helped us get started. I hope you learned something from this. In my next tutorial, which will probably be this one again, but on the board, if the board hasn't arrived, I'm going to be putting a puzzle up that's only got 17 numbers, the minimum you can have to solve. And we do it without putting in little numbers like we just had to do today. So that's it. Bye for now. See you next time.